Everyone, this is a two-part video. So the first part is going to be about the different types of graphs and when we use them, and then the second part is just going to be a very quick show how to make line graphs. All right, remember, please call me, send a WhatsApp, text message, anything you need if you're having trouble with any of the graphings. And very, very important note, tomorrow I'm going to be answering questions about your previous work, which means if you have not submitted it, then you can't get any points for that page. You have to have already submitted the work in order to get the points. So there is no more delaying, no more, I'll get it done eventually, teacher. No more, this afternoon I'm gonna play video games or do something else. Get your math work finished. Tomorrow, if it's not handed in, you don't get points for it. That simple. All right, got it? Thank you. Okay, so pictograph, you already know what a pictograph is. It's, when you use pictures to represent something, and you use pictographs when things are already grouped up. So for example, things come in packs of 10, and you get 10 of those packs, all right, etc. Bar graph, you know what a bar graph is. It's this kind of graph, right? And there's numbers on this, and there's items down here, okay? And you do this when you're showing one thing, but that's supposed to say not with time. So you're just trying to show information about one thing. So for example, favorite animal. All right. In grade 5. Okay. Or something along those lines. A double bar graph is the same thing, except now you have two pieces of things that you're comparing together. Okay, so it's exactly the same as the previous one, except now you're comparing two things, but not with time. So for example, this could be favorite animal. In grade 5 and 6. And the way that works, of course, is that all the green is grade 5, and all the yellow is grade 6, like that. See? Okay, so we have to add another element in there. And you can actually have triple bar graphs and quadruple bar graphs, but you don't have to worry about those for now. We're just working on a double bar graph. Okay, a line graph is showing one thing over time, and it shows a line, maybe something like that, okay? But the key point here is that it is over time. This is something I can't emphasize enough. This part down here, this is a time factor. And then this is a number factor, okay? So really important. Now you can also have a line graph that looks like this, for example, but they're all line graphs. It's always time, and then your number on the side, okay? And then a double line graph, again, it's exactly the same thing. It's just this time, you still have time, you still have a number, but now you have two factors. So you have this thing, that's one idea, and then this here, which is another idea that continues, okay? So it's comparing two things over time. So just remember that. Now we get to a few things we haven't talked about. A stem and leaf graph, I'm not going to worry about too much now. You will see them when we're doing probabilities. But what you want to do with the stem and leaf graph is figure out all the possibilities. Okay, so for example, if you're making sandwiches, okay, and you have options, so you can have wheat or white. You can have tomato or lettuce, and you can have mustard or ketchup, for example. So when you make a stem and leaf graph, you start out with wheat, white, and then you go to the next thing, and you can put tomato on the wheat bread, or you can put lettuce on the wheat bread. You can put tomato on the white bread. You can put tomato on the or lettuce on the white bread. Then you can put mustard on the tomato bread, the wheat tomato bread. You can put ketchup on the wheat tomato bread. You can put mustard on the wheat lettuce bread. You can put ketchup on the wheat lettuce bread. And you just keep that up. So when you're done, you can see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possibilities, okay? So it's wheat, tomato, mustard, wheat, tomato, ketchup, wheat, lettuce, mustard, wheat, lettuce, ketchup, white, tomato, mustard, white, tomato, ketchup, white, lettuce, mustard, white, tomato, mustard. See, that's your 8 possibilities. All right, so you have to go the whole right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now you can see why they call it a stem and a leaf, because it looks like a stem breaking off into a bunch of leaves. All right, and then our topic on Thursday is going to be circle graphs. And the key thing you need to know about circle graphs is that you have a total. So it's usually dealing with percentages. Okay, so you know how many is in total. Your chart is going to look something like a fraction circle, for example, okay? But the thing you have to remember is that we're talking about all of something, okay? So the entire grade 5 class, for example, okay? Or the entire UCAN school. And then we ask questions, all right? So we're dealing with percentages, or we know the whole amount of everything. Okay, so that's that section here. Now, you have a game that I'm going to link to you in our WhatsApp chat. And that game is, I would like you to go and play that game, not now, finish the video, but go and play that game and send me the results of that game before you do your workbook pages. Okay, now here is the making of the line graph. So as you can see, I've already given you some of these things. So the things that are missing here is I don't have a title. So let's see, what shall we call this thing? We know that we're doing something about heating water on a Bunsen water. So let's call this rate at which water heats up. Okay, now they've already given us the label on that axis, and they've already given us the label on this axis. So let's look at the time axis. We go from 0 to 10. Well, how many lines do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 lines, so that's perfect. So I can say this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You notice how I'm putting it right on the line? Makes it really convenient. All right, and then I have to go from 0 again, because you always have to go from 0 all the way to 100 on this other line. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 lines there, so that makes sense. I can go 10, 20, 30. Notice I'm not putting it in between. I'm putting it right on the line, being very precise. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so now I have at 0 minutes, it's 10 degrees, so I'm going to put a dot right there. At 1 minute, it's 20. At 2 minutes, it's 30. At 3 minutes, it's 50. At 4 minutes, it's 60. At 5 minutes, it's still 60. At 6 minutes, it's 70. At 7 minutes, it's 80. At 8 minutes, it's still 80. At 9 minutes, it's 90. And at 10 minutes, it's 100. So now in order to do this, I'm going to very neatly, not in some kind of blah blah way, draw lines to connect all of this together. A ruler would be good if you have longer things that you have to do. Okay, so there you can see. So now we can answer these questions. What is the trend of the graph? The trend is increasing over time. Okay? And at what time did the temperature jump the most? Well, it jumped the most between 2 and 3 minutes. Everywhere else, you can see we have a 10-degree increase. This is 10 degrees, 10 degrees, then we got 20 here, then 10, then nothing, then 10, then 10, then nothing, then 10, then 10. So the most increase is going from 2 to 3. Okay? Now this next one, I had to draw in some stuff because it was hard to see, but there's no information on here at all. So this is about recycling cans between 2 different middle schools. Okay? So, and it's over time. This, you can't actually see it here, but this is 2008. Okay? All right. So this right here, the time information is year. Okay? This information is number of cans recycled. All right. So what should we put in the title? Recycling at 2 schools from 2008 to 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 2013. Do you notice how my title is long? Graph titles are always long. Don't try and cheat it through and be slow. Okay? All right, so now let's look at my increments. So my year increment is simple because I start at 2008. I have how many data points? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 data points. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. So that's perfect. I go 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Okay, now my other one, let's look at what it is. My smallest number is 150, and my biggest number looks like it's 900. Okay, so let's see how many lines I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's really lovely because I know that I can go to 1,000, so I have 0 at the bottom, 1,000 at the top, which just means my increments are 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900. Perfect. Okay. So now we have 2 different data points to do. We've got Ireland. So let's make Ireland this color. Okay. So in 2008, it was 150. That's a halfway point between 100 and 200. Then it goes, wow, significant jump to 650. Then it goes to 700. Then it goes to 800, 900, and then back to 800 again. So we're going to draw that as neatly as we can. All right. And then we're going to use green for Scott. That's cool. All right. And Scott starts a little bit higher. It starts at 200 right there, but then it doesn't jump as much. It goes to 400, then 400 again, then 500, then 600, then 700. Okay. And we'll draw those lines. Do you notice how I didn't start at 0? That's because my first information is about 2008. I don't have any information there, so I'm not going to start my graph right here at 0. That wouldn't make sense. Okay? I'm not going to do this. That's a mistake. We don't want to draw that. That's incorrect. Okay? We just draw the graph starting right where we're at. Okay? All right. Describe Ireland Middle School throughout the years. Okay, so what would we say about Ireland Middle School? Let's go back to our orange. It increased a lot in 2009, but then only slowly increased. Sorry. And if I wanted to say something about Scott Middle School, I would probably say Scott Middle School has steadily increased over time. And you can see that because if I just kind of draw a sort of a straight connecting line like this, it goes straight up. Whereas this one right here doesn't really have the same kind of thing because it's got more bumps to it, okay? But my line for Scott almost exactly matches the line for the other. Okay, is there a correlation between the amount collected at the school and the amount in one school and the amount at the other? In other words, does what one school does impact what the other school does? Well, I think we can say that there is one correlation. Both increased a lot in 2009. Now, both of them had a jump there. So let's think about that. Is there potentially a reason why that would happen? Why? There's a lot of possibilities, but let's say maybe there was a promotion. Maybe there was a club created that tried to encourage recycling. There's a lot of possibilities, okay? And in what year is the most collected? Well, that would be 2012, because we have 900 collected by Ireland plus 600 collected by Scott equals 1,500 collected by both. All right, and we know that one's the most because if we go to 2013, we've got 800 plus 700. Oh, wow, it's not the most. Interesting. Okay, also equals 1,500 collected by both. So the answer is 2012 and 2013. Okay, good. So let me just briefly talk to you about your workbooks. All right. Yep. Okay. So you're making line graphs. Make sure you include all the information here. Look at your increments all up the side. So for example, where are you going to put $9? $9 is right here. It's not at 10, it's not at 8, it's halfway in between. Okay? Now, these ones can be a little tricky because there's a lot of stuff to pay attention to. They are 50 cents each. Okay? So if in week 1, let's just show a scenario. If in week 1, $5 is spent, that means 10 cards are bought. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, 50 cents plus 50 cents equals 100 cents, which is the same thing as $1. $1, okay? So 50 cents plus 50 cents equals $1. So if I spend $5, I buy, for $1, I get 2 cards. For $2, I get 4 cards. For $3, I get 6 cards, etc. So by the time I get to $5, I have bought 10 cards. Okay? So some of you don't know this about money. We have learned it before, but we haven't talked about it much this year. So I'm telling you this now so you've got it. 50 cents plus 50 cents equals 100 cents. That's $1. So you need 2 cards to equal $1. Very important. Okay? And that will help you answer all of the rest of these questions. Check carefully. Okay? Here, just a reminder, you need 1, 2 pieces of information. 3, because this is where you put your legend. So you have adult tickets and children tickets. So you've got to have adult and you've got to have children. You should have 2 lines on this graph. Okay? And I'm going to help you with this as well. You've got 100 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 20, 40, 60, 80. Can't read that, but let me make that bigger. Okay. That means we have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So then this is 120, 140, 160, 180. Okay? So when you make this graph, pay attention to that. All right, grade 6s, you have a simple graph here as well. You're recording sales, same as the others. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 bits of information to include. Don't forget them. Okay? Then just answer the questions. Here, just like the other, you have two sets of, sorry, you don't have two sets of data. Here, you've got to do rounding, okay, and it tells you to round to the nearest hundredth. So once you've rounded, so for example, this is 300, don't use this number, use your rounded number. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits of data you have to make sure you write on here before you even graph anything. All right. Okay, good luck with the work. Call me if you have any questions, and have a good day.